What's that girl's name who protests against global warming?
Dhanashri.
TV umpire to director, we have a player review. Can we rock and roll, please?
Hello and welcome again to Bits and Pieces. This is episode 33 of your friendliest cricket podcast, coming to you from 3 time zones this time. I'm your host for the episode, Srinath, subbing in for Tony's Rishabh Pant-esque virtuoso genius with all the enthusiasm of Sanju Samson, knowing fully well that our first choice automatically slots in when he's back. Our panel for today features the man with his finger on the pulse of the game at all times. The visionary who sees Venkatesh Prasad in New York street art before you can recognize it in a laddu from Tirupati. The man whose chemistry notes were full of Zimbabwe all-time 11 names while you were playing Flames. And the only member of our crew for whom an enjoyable trip to a hotel with a villas means an anecdote about a South African wicketkeeper and not a delightful plate of biryani. From Bangalore to Dubai, all the way via New York City, please welcome back the ultimate 90s cricket superfan, Nitin Sundar. Hey, Nitin.
Hey, Srinath. Hey, thank you so much for that welcome. Glad to be back on the podcast after a fairly long break. I think I kept abreast with cricket in my time away through this podcast, which is to say I pretty much don't know anything about what's going on right now in the world. Superb intro. Only one correction. It's not Zimbabwe. It's Jimbobay.
Jimbobay. Which we will get to in due course, along with KL Rahul. Episode 32 also extends a unique streak to 8 consecutive weeks. That's longer than the time KL Rahul last made runs for India, longer than it took for headlines to move on from BazBall to Bouchball, and way longer than it took for IPL owners to buy out the entire T20 franchise world. Yes, it is the 8th consecutive episode of Bits and Pieces where we get to welcome cricket Twitter's storyteller-in-chief, the man who knows his John Wright County trivia from the 80s just as well as the latest gossip from around the cricketing world. Please welcome again the knowledge bank of the pod, Abhishek El Chopernos Chopra. Hello, Chops.
Thank you. Very glad to be here. I really like the WWE touch to the intro. I think that was the only missing thing in the podcast and we have added that today.
It's the only way to, try and make up for 1% of Tony, as you know. But time for the usual question, chaps. What have we got to talk about this time? It's where we start every time. India and Jimbobay, as Nitin already started off, and as VVS Lakshman would say. Chops, 2-0 up in the series as we record. What have been your reflections? Because I'm assuming you have probably watched some of it.
The fact that KL Rahul came back from nowhere to captain the side was a nice thing, but I think all of us as Shikhar Dhawan's fan on this podcast are very disappointed that he didn't get to captain the side. I mean, what's a guy like that doing as vice captain? I have no clue. But yeah, I mean, 2 good wins against a New Zealand, against a Zimbabwe side. I'm sorry, against a Zimbabwe side.
That's a Tony nod.
Tony would be glad to hear the mistake. But yeah, I mean, against a decent Zimbabwe side. I mean, obviously they're blighted by one problem or the other at all times. But this is a side which is doing fairly well, and 2 good wins against them. Our friend Tony would be very, very glad to know that Sanju Samson got the Man of the Match award in the second game and batted really well, batted with the usual grace and poise that he exhibits as frequently as Halley's Comet. Otherwise, he's just like, I have no clue how he gets out. So, yeah, I mean, 2 good wins. The bowling attack looks promising.
Nitin, I think you and I have been the only ones enjoying the coaching staff for this tour, which is which features VVS Lakshman, Sairaj Bahutule, Debashish Mohanty, I think for the first time, and there was a fourth, right? Who forgot?
This entire series is a throwback, right?
Yeah, Rishikesh Kanitkar, sorry.
Oh, yes, exactly. So you have the entire army from the 90s, right? The difficult 90s here. So this entire series is a throwback. The last time, at least I followed cricket in Zimbabwe, there used to be one good win. There used to be Heath Streak. There used to be Guy Whittle, and there used to be Flowers. Now you have the Indian team who has secured 2 good wins. In a series that is not so vital. In a series that's not so vital, extending their winning streak against Minnows into countless oblivion, and youngsters are blossoming like flowers in every corner. All is well with the Indian cricket. The only thing that matters, right, 2 matches in, the highest run getter in the series is Shubman Gill, and he has 115 runs, 1 run ahead of Shikhar Dhawan, who has 114. The entire point of the series was Gaji, and right now Shubman Gill is leading by a slender margin. So
that 1 run difference belongs to KL Rahul, who demoted Shubman Gill and got 1 and reviewed a 3 reds LBW on the way back to the hutch. So I think that's the difference.
Yeah, I think cricket Twitter had a lot of negative stuff to say about the decision that KL took of winning the toss and batting second. Got a lot of flack for that decision.
For not putting Gaji, basically.
I think also he might be a bit perturbed by his historic 3-0 defeat, was it, in South Africa as captain? But yeah, KL Rahul criticisms is almost like a homage to Kaus on the pod, who is unable to make it for any length of time these days.
Yes, since you mentioned we will talk about KL Rahul, I tried to go and find out what he's been doing in this series, right? And like you said, he's not batted long enough. There isn't much footage of him on the field. So as usual, I went to the other place where you get good KL Rahul content, which is KL Rahul's Instagram feed. But there was one short clip of KL Rahul preparing or something, right? Some montage that they had created. And there's one particular shot of that where where he's doing pull-ups. The guy is ripped, by the way. You don't suspect that he's the most muscular guy in the Indian team, but the fellow is in fairly good shape, must be said.
Must be nimble both on land and water with his double scales as well, right? Must be.
Yeah, I think even in that, if I remember correctly, in that what's the show called that Gaurav Kapoor does? He was a
Breakfast of Champions.
Yeah, he was a guest on that podcast, and I think he mentioned how he's really beefed up his physical fitness game. Not sure if it's working out as well as he would have liked given all the fitness issues, but yeah, I mean, at least looks like nice build. Yeah.
Looks like but it is stable build, not crashing. Yeah. No, so that basically makes KL Rahul the Tiger Shroff of Indian cricket, right? So good build and all of that. Does a lot of gym work, gym body in Jimbobay. Primary skill somewhat questionable these days, but also commanding a huge premium, right? The youngsters seem to love it. So all of this is true for Tiger Shroff as well. So yeah, there you go.
But I mean, I'm just glad that he did what he did the last time we were in England. So yeah, I mean, if he can go anywhere near that level of performance and put behind him all this injury problem that's been plaguing him for quite some time now, it'll be great.
You mean the last time he was in England? Because the last time we were in England, unfortunately, he was not in England, and we all know what happened there. But yeah, let's not go there.
When did he and Rohit have
last year? No, he didn't play the 5th test.
I like how Choparnos has completely wiped out the 5th test or the one-off test or whatever test from his memory. Indian fans, I tell you.
well played. But I don't know, man. Like one question I have these days, I was reading last week's pod also mentioned there's some 50 guys who played for India since last year. Like it's this series, the attack is Deepak Chahar, who was rested or I don't know, didn't play the second game. Then there's Siraj and Kuldeep and Deepak Huda bowling off spinners. Point is, what does any of this mean for games that actually matter and are coming up? Obviously, we are not part of the ODI Super League, Nitin, in this case. So, what does all of this mean? Who is India's first choice ODI 11? These are the questions I have. I shouldn't have, I know, but like this is what I think every time I see India play these days. And these.
Yeah, I think the answer is basically to revel in the chaos. I mean, nothing means anything. It's just every day there is a new set of randomness that comes along.
So the reality is fans like us have lost track long back, right? But what is happening now is even the people actually who are supposed to know probably don't know anymore, right? For instance, right, I'm just imagining in a selection committee meeting, the selectors coming to me, okay, who to pick, Huda, and they pick Huda. That's all. Because like who else? What is that? So Huda is the Abhishek Chopra of Indian cricket. He is like has a streak of some 23 games or something. All victories. Like Rajesh Chauhan must be feeling, threatened now. You have Akshar Patel, right? Who none of us could explain why Akshar Patel was getting picked, and then they've just kept picking him randomly into all random squads, long enough that he started coming good, and now he's probably one of the first names that would go into the team list. So the selectors have no idea. Cricinfo, you would imagine Cricinfo knows what's going on, right? Like now they're not even disambiguating. They just say Chahar is picking wickets. I am suddenly like, I thought Rahul Chahar is out of favor, right? And I go into it, oh, Deepak Chahar is back. How did this happen? Nothing I'm able to follow anymore in cricket. Yeah, every series, it's good. You could have multiple leagues of T20, just featuring Indian teams in every country of the world, and each league would be well staffed with 100 odd players. There are so many players.
But that's a good question. What happened to Rahul Chahar? I mean, he played for India against England when we had
World
those
T20
bunch of matches.
Played, no?
Yeah, World T20 was there, and there was bunch of matches in the new Ahmedabad stadium he played. I can't even figure out when people drop off, when people are back in form, when they are in the national reckoning.
Somebody was saying he is Ravi Shastri's favorite, and since Shastri is not in the coaching establishment anymore, Rahul Chahar is out. I don't know.
At least with Ashwin, you can judge by the number of uploads per week, right? That is there.
Ashwin took some slight dig at some Zimbabwe T20 league or something, right? He said the prize money in that league is lesser than the base price in IPL auction or something.
But yeah, man, going back to 90s and all, like Ashwin's making fun of Zimbabwe's base price, but there was a day when India announced the Sahara sponsorship deal after landing in Zimbabwe. Gaikwad was the coach, and India would lose a test series 1-all to the personnel that you mentioned up top, Nitin, and it was never a guarantee that we would make a series win in Zimbabwe.
Forget 1-all, man. 97, we lost the one-off test, 1-0. So yeah.
Srinath, the one that you're referring to was that Andy Blignott series, is it?
Yeah. So in the year 2022, you have Ashwin making fun of base price. Back in the 90s, you had India being made fun of by Ray Price. So Jimbobay have gone a long way. So have Indian cricket.
Yeah, Bulawayo and Harare.
But anyway, like you mentioned, Chops, Sanju with the Man of the Match award. Is this his first for India? I didn't expect him to win yesterday, but must be his first.
Probably, yeah.
The only explanation I have for Tony not showing up on this podcast is he's just so overcome with delirium that he's probably, like he's floating somewhere where their internet is not available. Sanju Samson getting MOM and all. Like, yeah, blown away.
Was it the last podcast episode or where I think it was Tony only who mentioned that how serious the Indian team is decided by whether Sanju Samson features in it or not?
It's a good barometer, to be honest.
Munde barometer lauda. Sorry.
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, I didn't have anything better to say, man. I was just going to say, usually when he's about to win Man of the Match, he'll get out playing some beautiful pull shot to the deep mid-wicket region or whatever. He'll get stumped or caught.
His best performance in the recent past has been the Breakfast with Champions episode.
Poor guy went to all IPL final and all, forgotten completely.
I like how Chopper Nose is developing his own niche within the cricket world, right? He's like Breakfast with Champions watch. Chopper. We should make it a segment on the podcast. You should come and tell us. Clearly no one else is watching.
I think this season was basically all these guys. Harshal Patel, Akshar Patel,
Kopli Metel,
Sanju.
I can't help myself.
I think I'm taking too much liberty with this Sanju Samson fun making, and Tony will definitely throw me out of the podcast soon. The streak has gone on too long.
Streak is over for you. Yeah, it's like Zimbabwe in 2003. Moving on, I think, Chops, again, we turn to you because the latest Future Tours program is out, which is basically the ICC's calendar for a 5-6 year window. And it looks like we have more cricket than the previous cycle, despite all manner of columnists and cricketers proclaiming the death of ODI cricket, some going death of international cricket, and it says a lot about our priorities that we're discussing the FTP before England's defeat against South Africa. So it's like maybe we start there.
Yeah, I think a lot of the stuff that has become like really official now had come out a few months ago also, and I mean I for one was surprised why is the same stuff being discussed again, and then I figured out that okay, this is the final official thing, like final.final JPG or something.
Yeah, signed.pdf. Yeah,
Time to upload it through FTP.
So yeah, I mean, India is going to have 5 Test marquee series against England and Australia. The number of ODIs is somehow increasing. South Africa is prioritizing white ball very clearly. They're very clear about the fact that the new T20 league is going to be like a make or break thing for them. I mean, I for one was taken aback by knowing that the next time South Africa play England in England or just South Africa playing England is what, 2026 or something.
yeah, they're only playing 2 Test series apparently.
Yeah. It's just bonkers. I mean, for them to have the kind of bowling that they have right now and to not play Test is just amazing. And yeah, I mean, it's India also is not playing 5 match or more than 3 match ODI series in the entire FTP. So lots of tidbits. There's a lot more cricket that's going to happen. I think a lot of these big 5, let's say big 4, big 5 teams will have to have parallel teams or almost different teams for different formats.
Who is the 5th team? Is it rotating between New Zealand and?
Yeah, I guess one of those two. But I mean, it's a big gulf between the big 3 and the rest.
Wait, 1 second. Who is the 4th team?
South Africa, no?
South Africa.
Oh, South Africa have now made. Okay, all right, well done. Congrats to South Africa.
Yeah, I mean they're going to play tons of white ball cricket. So yeah, I mean it's just getting closer to the point of some sort of breaking is what I feel about the FTP, and yeah, there's more cricket, but it's getting more and more concentrated, I feel.
Yeah, we are all talking about death of cricket, but let's be clear, there is no dearth of cricket.
Exactly. And there's more and more ODIs than the previous cycle, which is beautiful. Because this week, I think there's 4 or 5 guys, Moeen Ali included, a bunch of others, saying this is like a dead format. Obviously, Shikhar Dhawan, brand ambassador for ODIs, came and said, this is beautiful, this format is
I
where
love
it's at.
that.
You can take your time.
Yeah.
You can set your field. You can have a 40-minute break. All the good stuff. ODI cricket.
Yeah, I mean he must have smoked so hard after saying what he said. It was just like completely amazing sort of voice bite after all the other cricketers have been saying. It was just completely out of the blue.
He's probably going to play on until 2026 after 2 more World Cups, I'm sure. Shikhar Dhawan.
The last World Cup will be just Shikhar Dhawan showing up. Nobody else will be there. Dhawan will land. Hey guys, what is this?
He'll be like something like the captain emeritus of like retired professors in these colleges, captain emeritus of the Indian ODI team. Like can't take him away at all. He'll be forever there.
ODI cricket is like the catch-22 March past, right? Lieutenant Shishkov, the character who takes it seriously. Nobody else cares about it. So finally they end the March past by giving all the medals for that season and for all upcoming seasons. But perpetual winner is Lieutenant Shishkov, and then they cancel it altogether. They'll do the same thing to Shikhar Dhawan, I think.
What's that girl's name who protests against global warming?
Dhanashri. I don't know, man. Malala Yousafzai.
Greta Thunberg.
Oh, sorry. I meant Greta Thunberg, but I said Malala Yousafzai. Really, I'm very plugged into global issues, just like cricket.
But I think jet lag has really set in.
No, this is just me. I have recovered.
Okay. I think the next part starts at Lords, where England got blown away by South Africa after batting something like 82 overs in total, which was slightly more than the time they batted in Ahmedabad when Akshar Patel of this podcast
Tera Kopri Metel.
blew them away in just over 5 sessions. So the background is South Africa played against England Lions the week before, which is like their A team. And England Lions made 674 runs at a run rate of 5.7 something. And there was like all this talk about how the assembly line and production line are also playing a BazBall brand of cricket, and the media were going like completely gaga as they do in the UK. Dean Elgar, feisty Dean Elgar, came back and said, we don't care about BazBall. This is not going to last, blah, blah, blah. Sam Billings comes out in the media. Sam Billings, I think, was leading the England Lions. And this quote is totally worth reading out fully. So it's up to them, really. But I think it's laid out a pretty strong statement in the way we want cricket to be played. But also being able to execute it and having the players to do was really impressive. It's a very similar ground to Lord's with the slope and things like that. There's a couple of guys who Ollie Robinson had on toast this week. He bowled exceptionally well. It's a similar kind of ground, similar kind of feel. So the fact that we got 20 wickets on a pretty flat pitch that had 6 heavy rollers on. What did we get? 672? It's impossible not to take confidence, certainly as a group. But some of the guys are in the test squad as well, and they'll take a lot of confidence into next week. So Billings sledging the opposition, who then went to Lord's, won the toss, which seems to be the main ingredient for any kind of ball in England, and completely blew them away in a matter of 5 sessions. And discuss.
Now, tell me one thing. Who were the players in the England Lions squad who made it to the test squad? Who took the confidence?
Was it Harry Brook and was it Pope? Second one? I don't know.
Pope scored some runs. Yeah.
I think
And
Harry Brook is the main dude.
Yeah, when Dean Elgar said those things, I'm sure in some corner of the world, Dimut Karnaratne was listening and he was like, yeah, my man. and fully vindicated by South Africa showing up in the test match. Insane. I know why we actually left England versus South Africa for after FTP. It is because we were saving the best for later. We always used to say toss advantage greater than home advantage, which at one stage was the name of our WhatsApp group, or the abbreviation TACTA, toss advantage greater than home advantage. But back then it was all about winning the toss and batting first. So how did England, flip the narrative and, make it toss advantage, but, actually we don't want to be batting first, we want to be batting fourth. So what happens now? When opponents of England, all they need to do is win the toss and ensure that they bat first, and that's all it takes to trip up England.
I think so. I mean, the thing is, it's not just the toss, right? The toss is obviously the 4 games that they absolutely won in a similar manner chasing, but also the way it happened was Johnny Bairstow going bonkers for 4 games in a run of form that you'd rarely ever see. And we were discussing this on the group that some journos would shift the narrative to the 100 being the root of all evils, and it duly happened in a couple of hours' time, saying lots of proclamations have been made saying the 100 is a great competition. Let's also talk about the downsides, because all these guys went to play, not all these guys, at least a couple of guys went to play.
Actually, a lot of them didn't play the 100. Right?
The rest of them had no practice.
Like Zach Crawley is so bad that even a 100 team is not going to pick him. So.
No, he played the 100.
Oh, he did?
One of the 2. Wow. Him and Root were the only 2 who played the 100.
Okay.
But the rest didn't play anything. While I think Sarah Lervia, who scored runs for South Africa, was playing club cricket in England. He's not even playing county. He's playing like club cricket because county games are not happening for the red ball stuff. So it was thoroughly enjoyable few hours watching England bat.
No, so I missed the game, but I read up on what was said after the game, and apparently one of the things that Brendan McCullum has stipulated in his setup, in his contract as coach, is he will speak to the media when England loses, because he wants his players to bask in the glory when they win, and he wants to front up, so which is a very Baz kind of thing to do. But what is even more Baz is what he actually said. So I'm reading out what I read. I guess one of the messages we will be talking about is, did we go hard enough with our approach? Could we maybe go a little harder and try turn some pressure back on the opposition as well? There's not much point in hitting the nets as such. For us, we've got very good cricketers and they've had a lot of cricket over their careers and they know what they're doing. We just need to tidy up a couple of areas. And one message will be, can we go a little harder? Again, I mean, this is like, I thought it's spoof, man, but he actually said this.
Listen, I I think real test for these kinds of quotes is if you imagine it being said in a Shastri voice, are you still listening to it, right? Then you're saying very different things, no?
I guess one of the messages. I can't do it. Can we go a little harder with the long handle? That's the question.
This quote with Shastri is coming with an old monk meme or something, right? That's what happens.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But I think one thing Billings said needs to be questioned. I mean, there's a few things, but the primary thing I'd question is you'd be pretty stupid to ignore that if I'm honest, because we are not even the best 11. I don't know about that anymore. 674 against the same attack. Yeah, maybe it's questionable.
Yeah, maybe get the England Lions to play the next test. Who knows? It might work.
So yeah, here's the England Cubs squad as we call them on this podcast. Jennings, Sibley, Lawrence, Brooke, Duckett, Billings, captain and wicketkeeper, Jacks, Overton, Patterson, White, Robinson, Cook. So none of them.
Wait, isn't that too low for Cook to be batting?
Sam Cook.
Oh, by the way, the Cook joke apart, this was very nearly the England 11 roughly 6 to 12 months back, right? With you just had Joe Root somewhere in there, and that was the England team that probably got rolled over in Ahmedabad. But yeah. Funny. Yeah.
So this guy Will McPherson, who's another England cricket journalist who's not as parochial as the others perhaps, he had a very interesting thing to say. Basically, when Joe Root fails twice, which he will every now and then, England don't have a hope. Edgbaston 2021, Grenada 2022, Lords 2022. They haven't won when he's not made a 50 for more than 2 years. I mean, for all the talk about Bairstow and BazBall and whatever, it's coming back to whatever you can call as classical test match batting. The other thing that really, I don't know, put me off with respect to what Brendan McCullum said was the unreal confidence that these guys keep showing in Zach Crawley. I mean, the guy can't buy a run. It's another matter that, given my jinxing prowess, he might just score a double 100 in the next game. But I mean, so far he does not look like anything close to a test player. And again, he's just said that he's going to win us games every now and then. Doesn't matter if he gets out for low scores all the time. And there have been other players like that. So it's just amazing. And I mean, even
Collingwood, right? Collingwood comes to the press conference after a batting collapse and says, "We are not looking for consistency from our opener. We are only looking for the occasional winning performance." And then there was a great tweet. Yeah. There was a great tweet with the screenshot of Crawley's 267 innings and says, "Courtesy at the real PCB." Basically, the one innings that he totally smashed. Yeah.
No, it's good. It's good to reiterate. You don't want consistency soon after a collapse, because I don't want to consistently see these scores, guys.
Yeah, but I mean, what must be said is the South African bowling was quite amazing. I mean, we were all very disappointed when India couldn't defend a very, very high target for England in that one-off test. But I mean, here, for someone like Rabada, for example, was just beautiful to watch. I don't think he's still back to what he was in 2017-18 when he was really bowling very, very quick. But he was really good to watch, and I mean, England were properly blown away. And the other guy who was really good as a surprise, bringing up the Ravindra Jadeja line and length again, was Keshav Maharaj with his left arm spin. Showed India, perhaps, if they were watching from wherever they were, how good someone like that can be even in English conditions. So yeah, I mean, just a fantastic win. And I still think England is going to perhaps win at least one more test. If Tony was here, he would have told us what the impact of all of this on the world test championship standings is going to be. But since he's not there, we'll just believe that may the better team win. Yeah.
Could it be South Africa Australia final, WTC? Or
yeah, it looks like that. I mean, in all probability.
So this match has pretty much put a huge spanner in India's works, right?
I guess, yes. But I mean, can't confirm or deny till Tony's there.
Apparently, South Africa bowled about 30 odd percent of their balls in this test match faster than 87 miles per hour, and the corresponding number for England was less than 1%. So the difference in pace, that's an incredible fast bowling attack. And you should say South Africa's fast bowling continuing to be this good as they go into an era where Test cricket is really struggling. And clearly they are investing more behind white ball, T20 and all of that. It's an anomaly that they continue to have these fast bowlers. And that's despite losing some of their best bowlers to Kolpak, etc.
Yeah, and some of them come back, right? Like Duan Olivier is injured, I think, not in the squad.
But he's not even the best. I mean, but he's not the best, right? Like Notkia and Rabada, etc. Definitely a cut above.
There was a nice comment on Cricinfo about Marco Jansen, right? It's almost like a extreme cheat code to have a left arm seamer 6'8" doing what he does. It's like having a left arm Ambrose if he gets really good, right? Like it's effectively with the space.
In fact, in the current era, just having a left arm fast bowler, because batsmen are struggling against any kind of variety, right? And you see Neil Wagner's success in the last few years. I think it's just unfortunate that Indian cricket is going through a phase where it doesn't have any left armers. And going back to 2000s, you had Zahir, Irfan, Nehra, RP Singh, all these guys operating roughly around the same time. You had enough left arm seamers.
Brings up the important question, right? Where is Arjun Tendulkar, right? That's the...
He's in Goa, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he and Siddesh Lad both have taken NOCs from MCA to play for other states. Taken or in the process of taking. For Arjun, Goa is confirmed. I think Siddesh Lad is talking to a few teams and figuring out where he wants to go.
Good luck to them. In a future episode of the podcast, we will talk about Tendulkar Jr. running into Jadeja Sr. in Goa. at some restaurant. Yeah.
Hat tip Mithun Sundar.
Talking of David Warner, guys.
I know what's coming. Go for it.
Okay, I have a question for you guys, right? So, David Warner is returning to the Big Bash League, of course, after a lot of machinations that have happened in the back. My question to you is, how many games has David Warner played in the Big Bash League in the past?
0?
No, some 2-3 seasons he's played, I think.
That's right, he's played 3 seasons. So, could you guess how many games he's played?
I'll say 4.
David Warner's 3 previous BBL appearances have been spread across 3 seasons, from 2011 to 2013. He made a century in his first appearance against Melbourne Stars before the following season where he played for crosstown rival Sydney Sixers, collecting a duck against Thunder. Then back with Thunder in 2013, he made a half century against Sixers, sharing a century stand with Khwaja in a match his team lost. So that's the David Warner trivia for you guys for today. So yeah, after 2013, he's back in the BBL, and yeah, it's funny that the BBL has struggled to be a draw. Right? I mean, you would imagine, especially with the Packer history, that Australia is the place where they know how to do package cricket entertainment right, and not other parts of the world. But they are probably the 15th most sought after T20 league in the world. It's just shocking.
Yeah, I think they've really missed the bus in terms of figuring out the cricket part of it. They had the season going on when Australia, the main team, was playing Test cricket, and they just banged too much on the fact that kids and families etc. will come. But I mean the quality of cricket is just shocking. Apart from the English guys or Rashid or one of these fellows. So it's just, I mean, they've lost the plot completely, and I don't really think that even someone like Warner playing for one season is going to revive their fortunes.
More than him playing, I think the statement is that they've stopped him from playing some of the other leagues, right?
Yeah.
Whether this the Dubai League or the one in South Africa. Just to say that all the overseas guys in the draft, or the top overseas guys in the draft, were making more money than the Australian contracted guys. So the Aussies were like, time to leave. We'll go play wherever, and they stopped that from happening to a degree, I think, with Warner. I don't think the Aussie guys are named in any of the South African or Emirates T20 squads, right? So far, I don't think there's anyone so far.
Yeah, none of it. It'll be interesting to see where Chris Lynn goes, though. I mean, not contracted to Cricket Australia, so yeah, let's see.
Chris Lynn will be going to the physio stable. He is permanently injured, isn't he?
I think to play in any other league, you should also at this point cut off your ties with the state association, right? So he probably needs to be relieved of his whatever Queensland contract or wherever he plays.
I don't think he has even that. I'm not sure, but I don't think he has even that because of what Nitin mentioned, just injured all the time.
See, I get some things right.
Yeah, he was employed for 2 months by Cricinfo for IPL coverage. So usually, it's kind of where it ends for a lot of guys who don't play the IPL.
Are we talking about Dubai League?
I don't know anything about you tell us, man.
Okay, so there is IL-T20, which we are shortening to I Love T20 League, which is happening in United Arab Emirates. Conspiracy theory that it is ICC's move to wrest back control from BCCI, which is an idea I floated around a few friends who I have at the ICC, and they were looking at me wide-eyed. Wow, why didn't we think of this? Anyway, so I was reading up about the Dubai T20 League. As I mentioned earlier, I've been fully disconnected from cricket, so I was quickly reading up. There's this one paragraph that caught my line, so I'm going to read it out to you guys. It's a fill in the blanks. The owners of Mumbai Indians, Chennai Super Kings, Delhi Capitals and Rajasthan Royals, along with a consortium led by Dash, are also understood to be interested in buying teams in the T20 League. So this is the South Africa T20 League. Can you tell me who Dash is? Or what Dash is?
We will say Jay-Z?
No.
Jay-Z is league owner, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, it is a person.
Rihanna.
You would never guess this, well. I did a double take when I read this line on Cricinfo today. The answer is Kevin Peterson, guys.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Yeah. You know that T20 cricket has jumped the shark when all these kinds of things are happening. What next? Zach Crawley to own a team. Like, anything can happen now, right? But yeah.
Yeah, Zach Crawley might sponsor the toss or something. I don't know.
I mean, he is the next Kevin Peterson, right? He's that kind of player who has impact now and then. We don't expect consistency from Zach Crawley, right? That was Kevin Peterson, 10 years back? 6 years back? So, yeah.
Big statement, man. But Kevin Peterson going back to the country that didn't pick him in the national squad.
But wait, I mean, what is the date for this news? I mean, aren't the IPL teams, the South African league teams all fixed in terms of owners and players and...
It might be an old article, I don't know. This could be any time in the last 2 weeks, but clearly you guys didn't know. So there you go. This is me getting up to speed 10 minutes before Zoom.
I thought all the South African teams were bought by IPL franchises.
Yeah, exactly.
The one you didn't name might be the Super Giants.
And the UAE league is going to have 9 overseas players in 6 teams, apparently. And it also coincides with a bunch of other leagues. Right? So that's going to be a lot of fun. You will need every sibling in the Chahar family to play. And the Pandya family. Like, that's the only way this is going to work. Too many.
Yeah. I think it is Alan Gardner who wrote on what's it called? The light roller or something. He said that if you haven't, if you know how to play even basic level of cricket, it's just that you don't know it yet, but you already have a T20 league contract in your name.
I saw a bunch of Netherlands players getting contracts. Like one of them, Bas de Lara. He's gotten a Mumbai Indians contract. A bunch of other guys who have landed up contracts with some of these IL-T20 franchises. So
Beautiful.
Good for them, I guess. That's the only way it'll flow to the associate world. Any kind of money.
Excellent. I think Afghanistan has set the stage, like their stars coming in, or rather their players coming and becoming superstars at the IPL. Yeah.
Just to end on the note of 90s nostalgia, as we started at the top, yesterday was the anniversary of the Lombard Under 15 Challenge Cup, which the final of which ended on August 20, 1996, India versus Pakistan. And I'm going to read out the names of the players in the teams, and some of them might be fairly recognizable. Gaganinder Singh, Ravneet Ricky, Ritinder Sodhi as captain. Pradeep Chawla, Mohammad Kaif, Bhavan Chandar, Ishan Ganda, Vivek Mahajan, Rajiv Jolly, Gulzar, Inder Singh, Rakesh Jha. Wow.
We should look at the Pakistan 11. I am expecting one Mr. Shahid Afridi to be there.
Tawfiq Umar, Hassan Raza, Bazid Khan, Faisal Iqbal, Janisar Khan, Yasir Arafat, Kamran Akmal, Shoaib Malik, Imran Qadir. Wow.
Oh.
Kashif Mahmood, Shehzad Nazir. So yeah, in Pakistan scored 2-2-2 for 7. Ritinder Sodhi picking up 3 wickets. And oh wow, this was a 60 over game somehow.
Oh my god, Shikhar Dhawan would love it.
And Ritinder Sodhi doing the double by scoring 82 not out for the Indian win in 52.4 out of 55 overs, not 60 overs, 52.4 overs. Amazing.
Superstar. Frankly, that Pakistan 11 was more star-studded, I would say, than the Indian 11. I'm really surprised Afridi didn't make it. He was probably under 10.
No, he's still under 15. That's right.
That's what. When this series was happening, he was under 10. He was too young.
Maybe he was banned for that ball biting thing or something. Who knows?
His teeth had not yet come out. He was that young. But tell me one thing. Was this match part of the Super League?
60 overs, man. Imagine the number of over rate finds you can do.
55 overs.
Imagine the number of times you can bowl out England.
Was it at Lords, you said, or no?
Yeah, Lords.
There you go.
Oh, sloping pitch. 6 rollers.
Well, it's as good a place to end the episode as any. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Bits and Pieces. On behalf of Nitin and the Chops, goodbye from all of us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
TV umpire to director, we have a player review. Can we rock and roll, please?